Good morning, everyone. We're Friday in the second week of Advent. We are cruising along here in our meditation series. And today's topic is remembering what you want. Real freedom happens here. It's not a freedom that always pleases our senses. It's not a freedom that always provides a passing satisfaction. But it is a freedom that establishes us in a flow of joy, in a flow of fulfillment that's beyond our wildest imaginings. This phrase, I'll have to admit, comes into a lot of the workshops that I've led in the past. And it comes in because everyone always thinks that my being a nun took a lot of discipline. That's one of the common comments I get. Oh, wow, that's such an austere life. You must have been so disciplined. And in all honesty, I suppose there's a shade of that has some truth. But it's largely not true in the traditional sense of what we mean by discipline. I was so caught up in love, so impelled, so satisfied, so on fire, that all of the practices, and monastic life is very austere, all of the practices were effortless. Effortless. They were light as a feather, because it felt always like I was being carried along by the love embrace that was the foundation for why I was there. And I don't take that for granted. That was an incredible gift. I know that in the little bit that we spoke with each other in the monastery, that wasn't everybody's experience. Sometimes some of the women would have a hard time getting up for the midnight matins every single night. For me, I would wake up at 11:30 brimming with joy. Sometimes in tears, that I was so called that I was going to be able to get up in just 15 minutes to keep presence and vigil with the beloved of all in the night when everyone slept. That doesn't feel like discipline, right? When we are in that place in our lives. But what is part of our work is not to be disciplined, not to set external goals and meet them all. What is work, if you will, is practicing and returning to what our soul wants. It's a whoosh. Because when we remember what we want, life is effortless. It doesn't matter if we're standing before a shotgun. When we remember what we want, life is effortless. In the greatest loss, in confusion, in doubt, in ecstasy, in bliss, in outward success, in outward failure. These are all happenings that happen within the tapestry that we might call our life story. But when we remember what we want, we are strongly organized into the fulfillment of that want. Our minds and our hearts are harnessed. Our activity is great because it's simplified, it's clear, Our resistance is gone, our wrestling is gone, our compromising is gone, our settling for less for ourselves is gone when we remember what we want. Because it connects us to Eros, it connects us to the divine desiring within us. And connected to that word remember takes on a new connotation. We are remembered into the body of consciousness, into the Christ consciousness. We are caught into the mystical body and our valued place in it. There's nothing less. And yet, while there's nothing less, it's imperative. Remembering what we want is imperative, for we do not come to the fullness of our life until we remember who we are and what we want, and are established in that alone. That gives spring to our step. That gives light to us even when the way is darkness. I'm going to read for you 4 poems that came from different parts in my life that are all about remembering and yet give very different shades to that. The sound of your voice thrills me, and my soul rises in the wind to catch the next current of air, lifting me high. I spread so wide, my heart spans the earth, held aloft by you. This I know. And another poem, 9 years apart. My house at last was calm and safe. Eucalyptus dripped from the exposed timbers, stripping their bark, impregnating the air, birthing ones like me passing through. And another one, large span of years apart. You used to love me, used to woo me, and every step I took ignited the flame. The mere turning of my eye to you was the open door you sought, so that you could pour yourself upon me. Where are you, my love? I followed you into the wilderness, tasting the sweetness of your lips. I followed you, confident of your commitment and your strength. Now, day after day, I ache, my being throbbing, because you hardly talk to me anymore. Because my bread, my daily bread, are crumbs falling from my lips. You used to love me. I felt it. My being drew you, and I was enraptured in your embrace. We laughed and danced, and I pledged myself to you again and again, 1,000,000 times each moment. The sweetness of my vow, and you to me, it was all I needed. But you didn't tell me that you were going to leave me. Why did you so tenderly hold me if you knew you would leave? You who are faithfulness, you have left me barren. for so many years. Now you have left me barren and alone. And one last utterance. It just is. Happenings in life. It just is. A happy moment, no sign we are loved. An unhappy moment, no sign we are unwanted. They are. And I walk amidst the wildflowers of my moments. The varying fragrance rises in billowing bursts to a nose that moves my eyes to tears. This just is the substance of my bliss. This remembering what you want doesn't take you going anywhere. And it takes you going to the one place where it can be found. And in it, in that remembering, you will have effortless movement in your life. Passive is a paradoxical word when we rest into the being that we are. Because that passivity is the greatest activity. It is the greatest creativity. And the moments that we need to do things happen with efficiency and clarity, because we've moved away from the ways we are attached and the ways we push away. We're completely out of that realm. So I invite you today to take the day and observe the varying fragrances of the day, letting yourself remember what you want in all of them, and catch the current. Move. Do not withdraw, but move with it all. This meditation is actually something of a passive meditation of all things. I invite you to allow the chant itself to be like rain that falls upon your being. It comes, instead of from Advent, it comes from Holy Week, but it's a time of prophecy by a prophet esteemed Jeremiah. It's a time of sitting in the dust with sackcloth and yet knowing you are embodying salvation. It is a time of journeying in life with all the manifold experience of life and reduced to the one thing necessary. So I invite you to close your eyes. And know that this chant is not only one that has been chanted for a few thousand years, but it is also one that is being chanted in creation today as we yearn to come to the full birth. It is one being chanted within you. Let yourself rise into it. Incipito oratio, iere mihi profete, recordare Domine, qui accideri nobis, intuere, et respice, opprobrium nostrum, et hereditas nostra, versa estat alienos, domus nostrae, ad extraneos, pupidi facti sumus, absque patre, matres nostrae, quasi vidue, aquam nostram pecuni habibimus, linea nostra, pretio comparavimus, servicibus nostris, minabiamur, lasis, non dabatur requies, Egypto dedimus manum, et Asiris, usator ademur pane. Patres nostra peccaverunt, et non sunt, et nos iniquitates errorum potavimus. Servi dominati su nostri, non fuit, quid dimeret de manueorum, in animabus nostris afferebamus panem nobis, a facie gladiende seto, pelis nostra, quasi cibanus exusta est, a facie tempestatum famis, molier essentium, humili haverunt, et virgines in civitatibus iura. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, convertere ad Dominum Deum tuum. As we end this morning meditation, I invite you to remember that you are the song of the divine song, and your work is remembering what you want. With that, I invite you to open your eyes. Have a great day, everyone. Blessings.